Imagine waking up in the dead of night, only to find your home invaded by a dark presence, so malevolent that it shatters the very fabric of your reality. A force that smashes furniture, throws objects through the air, and terrifies everyone who dares to cross its path. This isn't just a ghost story meant to scare children on a cold night. This is the true account of the Black Monk of Pontefract, a poltergeist so violent and relentless that it has been etched into the annals of paranormal history as one of the most terrifying hauntings in the United Kingdom. You might think these tales are just superstition, or that such violent supernatural occurrences belong in horror movies. But what if I told you there are countless eyewitness testimonies, police reports, and even physical evidence to back up this dark legend? A story so chilling, it forces even the most skeptical minds to pause and reconsider what lies beyond the veil of the living world. Before we dive deeper into the shadows of this haunting, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you're fascinated by the mysteries of the paranormal. Don't forget to comment your thoughts and experiences below. Have you ever felt a presence that you couldn't explain? And be sure to check out the link in the pinned comment for an incredible opportunity to explore more spine-chilling tales and maybe even transform the way you see the world forever. Now, prepare yourself as we journey into the heart of darkness, exploring the violent story of the Black Monk of Pontefract. The story begins in the quiet town of Pontefract, West Yorkshire, England, in a modest house where a family's peaceful life would soon be shattered by inexplicable horror. The poltergeist activity first erupted in the 1960s, centered around the Pritchard family, who lived at 30 East Drive. What started as minor disturbances, strange noises, footsteps in empty rooms escalated into terrifying manifestations that defied logic and terrified everyone involved. The family reported that objects flew off shelves, doors slammed violently without cause, and walls echoed with sinister sounds that no human could produce. But the most disturbing element was the apparition itself, a dark figure dressed as a monk, a specter with an aura of pure malice, seen stalking the halls, seemingly fueled by rage and vengeance. This was no ordinary ghost. The Black Monk was a violent poltergeist, capable of physical harm. It targeted the family, especially the children, hurling objects at them, leaving scratches and bruises on their skin, and creating a suffocating atmosphere of dread. Neighbors and local authorities were drawn into the nightmare as reports of the haunting grew too loud to ignore. Police officers arriving at the scene witnessed firsthand the destruction and even felt the oppressive presence themselves. One officer later described feeling an overwhelming evil in the house, a darkness that seemed to reach into the soul. The legend of the Black Monk quickly spread, turning the house into a site of paranormal investigation and public fascination. But who or what was the Black Monk? The story traces back to a tragic history rooted in the very land on which the house was built. Local lore tells of a monk who lived centuries ago, a man consumed by sin and madness, whose life ended in betrayal and murder. Some say his restless spirit returned, bound by hatred and an insatiable thirst for revenge. Others believe the monk's spirit became corrupted, transforming into a force of pure malevolence, an entity that feeds on fear and suffering. Whatever the truth, the connection between the dark past and the violent present seemed undeniable. As the haunting intensified, the Pritchard family sought help from paranormal investigators, including renowned figures who documented the activity with audio and photographic evidence. Poltergeist activity often remains elusive to capture, but here, the manifestations were so aggressive that even skeptics found themselves questioning their disbelief. Eerie voices whispered through recordings, objects moved violently in empty rooms, and unexplained cold spots were felt by all who entered the house. The investigators recorded footage of the shadowy figure lurking just out of clear view, a silhouette of a monk that seemed to mock their presence. Despite their efforts, the haunting showed no signs of relenting. Attempts to cleanse or bless the house were met with hostility as the entity grew more violent, as if enraged by intrusion. The family eventually had to abandon their home, leaving behind their possessions and the life they once knew. The Black Monk remained, a dark stain on the house and on the town itself. A reminder that some spirits do not rest, and some evils cannot be tamed. The terror didn't end there. Stories of the Black Monk have persisted for decades, with new reports of strange happenings in the area, suggesting that the malevolent force might still linger, waiting for new victims. The house at East Drive became a focal point for ghost hunters and thrill seekers, a place where the veil between worlds seems thin and dangerous. Visitors have reported feeling sudden chills, hearing whispers that freeze the blood, and seeing glimpses of that ominous monk figure lurking just beyond the edge of sight. It's a place where curiosity can quickly turn to fear, and where the past refuses to stay buried. This story is not just about a haunted house, but about the darker side of human experience, how tragedy and violence can leave marks that transcend time, how unseen forces can manifest in terrifying ways, and how the thin line between our world and the next can be shattered by unresolved pain and anger. The Black Monk of Pontefract stands as a grim reminder that some hauntings are more than folklore. They are terrifying, violent realities that challenge everything we think we know. Stay with me, because the full extent of this story is even more harrowing, with details and events that will haunt your thoughts long after you finish watching. And if you're captivated so far, remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with friends who love the darker mysteries of our world. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a chance to explore more stories that will chill your very soul. The haunting at 30 East Drive did not simply cease once the Pritchard family left. In fact, what followed was something even more terrifying. The lingering presence of the Black Monk seemed to seep into the very walls of the house, twisting the space into a vortex of malevolent energy. Reports of the poltergeist's activity continued, baffling paranormal experts and frightening visitors alike. Those who dared to enter the house described experiences so harrowing that they questioned their own sanity. The house itself seemed alive, a malevolent being breathing darkness into every corner. People spoke of hearing footsteps pacing relentlessly above them, but when they ascended the stairs, no one was there. Doors slammed with a force that shook the frames, windows shattered with no apparent cause, and chilling laughter echoed through the halls. This laughter was not light or jovial, it was a cold, mocking sound, as if the entity took cruel delight in tormenting its victims. Visitors felt sudden drops in temperature, their breath misting in rooms that should have been warm. Shadows twisted unnaturally, flickering just beyond the edge of vision, only to vanish the moment anyone looked directly at them. Some who tried to document these phenomena reported equipment malfunctioning inexplicably. Cameras refused to turn on, audio recorders captured only static or disturbing whispers, and compasses spun wildly, as if caught in a magnetic field generated by the spirit's fury. The atmosphere within the house was suffocating, pressing down on the chest and drowning the mind in dread. Several investigators who spent nights inside confessed that they felt an oppressive presence watching them, waiting for the right moment to unleash its fury. Many left before dawn, pale, shaken, and forever changed. Local residents soon came to fear the house. Stories circulated of unexplained accidents and illnesses among those living nearby, leading some to believe the curse extended beyond the property itself. Rumors grew that the Black Monk's rage had tainted the entire neighborhood. Some even spoke of hearing unearthly screams carried by the wind on cold nights, a mournful sound that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere, all at once. This dark legend was fueled not only by the violent manifestations, but also by the history behind the apparition itself. The figure of the Black Monk was not an invention of the modern era, but the spectral embodiment of a tortured soul bound by centuries of anguish. According to ancient accounts, The monk was once a man named Father Francis, a clergyman who served the local parish hundreds of years ago. Father Francis was said to be a strict and unforgiving man, known for his cruel punishments and harsh sermons. Yet beneath his austere exterior, he harbored secrets that would ultimately lead to his downfall. Legend has it that Father Francis was deeply involved in the darker aspects of the church's history, accusations of witch hunts, secret dealings, and even murder. His fanaticism alienated him from the community, and when his misdeeds were uncovered, he was cast out and disgraced. Some say he died a violent death within the walls of what is now East Drive, cursing the land and vowing vengeance on anyone who dared disturb his rest. Others believe that the monk made a pact with dark forces to extend his life beyond death, becoming a guardian of terror that would torment the living for centuries. What makes this haunting especially disturbing is how the black monk seems to interact with the physical world. Poltergeists are often considered manifestations of psychokinetic energy, usually tied to the emotions of the living, but this entity's violence and persistence suggests something far more sinister. It attacks with intention, often targeting those who show fear or disrespect. Children of the Pritchard family bore the brunt of its wrath, purportedly suffering from unexplained bruises, scratches, and terrifying nightmares that left them unable to sleep. Visitors, too, have felt invisible hands grasping at their clothes, sudden impacts to the body, and whispered threats that chilled them to the bone. One particularly chilling account comes from a local paranormal researcher named John, who spent several nights at the house, documenting the activity. John described an experience where he was violently thrown across a room by an unseen force, landing hard on the floor with a crack that echoed through the empty house. As he scrambled to his feet, the temperature plummeted, and a dark figure appeared at the edge of his vision, a robed monk with eyes glowing faintly red. John later described feeling paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak until the apparition vanished. Such encounters have led to numerous theories about the nature of the black monk. Some paranormal experts speculate that the spirit is trapped in a cycle of torment, unable to find peace because of the violent way he died. Others believe the monk has become something more, a demonic entity masquerading in human form, feeding off fear and despair. The malevolence exhibited suggests an intelligence and will beyond that of a typical restless spirit, making it far more dangerous. Attempts to rid the house of the entity have met with limited success. Priests, mediums, and ghost hunters have all performed rituals designed to banish the spirit. But the black monk's reaction was always aggressive, as if enraged by their interference. Doors would slam violently, windows would shatter, and the family was forced to abandon the house multiple times due to escalating violence. Some say that the house itself is cursed, its very foundation soaked with dark energy that feeds the entity's power. Despite these terrifying events, the story of the black monk has also drawn a devoted following among paranormal enthusiasts. The house remains a destination for ghost hunters seeking to capture evidence of the supernatural. Documentaries, books, and interviews with those who experienced the haunting have kept the legend alive in the public imagination. Yet, the question remains, is the black monk still lurking within the walls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross his path? Or has time finally dulled his rage, allowing the restless spirit a moment of reprieve? Visitors who approach the house today often describe an unsettling feeling even before they step inside. A heavy, oppressive atmosphere hangs in the air, like a warning. Some have reported hearing footsteps when no one is there, glimpsing shadowy figures watching from darkened windows, or feeling sudden chills that run through their bones. The house at East Drive stands as a grim monument to a dark past, a reminder that some evils are not confined to history books, but continue to haunt us in the present. The legacy of the black monk is a chilling example of how history, tragedy, and supernatural terror can intertwine. It challenges our understanding of the afterlife and forces us to confront the possibility that some spirits are more than mere echoes of the past. They are living nightmares that refuse to be silenced. As you hear this story, ask yourself, what would you do if you found yourself face to face with a darkness so powerful and violent that it could destroy your very sense of reality? If this story has gripped your imagination and sent a shiver down your spine, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Share your own experiences with the paranormal in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you've ever encountered something that defied explanation. And don't forget to check out the pinned comment for exclusive content and links to other terrifying tales that will keep you awake at night. The chilling presence of the Black Monk did not fade with time. If anything, it seemed to grow stronger, feeding on the fear and despair of those unfortunate enough to come near. Over the years, East Drive became a place whispered about in local lore, a sinister landmark where the veil between our world and something far darker felt dangerously thin. The relentless torment faced by the Pritchard family was only the beginning. The true horror was that the entity seemed to have a will of its own, a cruel intelligence that adapted and intensified its haunting, evolving from mere poltergeist activity into something far more malevolent. One of the most harrowing accounts from subsequent visitors involves a family who moved into the house years after the Pritchards fled. They had heard the rumors, but dismissed them as exaggerated ghost stories. However, it wasn't long before they encountered the sinister reality of the Black Monk. It began subtly. Objects moved on their own, unexplained cold spots in the rooms, and faint whispers that could not be attributed to any person or animal. But the haunting escalated quickly. The mother woke one night to the sound of footsteps pacing above her bedroom ceiling. As she peered upward, she saw a shadowy figure retreating into the darkness. Her heart pounded with terror. The footsteps were heavy, deliberate, and filled with a malevolent purpose. The children of the family soon became the targets of terrifying poltergeist phenomena. Doors slammed open and shut violently, often trapping them inside rooms for hours. Strange scratches and bruises appeared on their bodies, unexplained by any physical cause. On more than one occasion, the children reported hearing a low, guttural voice whispering their names, urging them to leave the house or join me forever. Their nightmares grew so vivid and horrifying that they were unable to sleep without waking, screaming in terror. One evening, the father attempted to confront the entity. Armed with a camera and a voice recorder, he set out to capture proof of the haunting. What he recorded was far beyond what he expected. The camera caught a fleeting glimpse of the Black Monk's spectral forms shrouded in dark robes with a pale, gaunt face that seemed twisted in eternal rage. The audio picked up chilling whispers, low moans, and a terrifying scream that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who heard it. Moments later, the room plunged into darkness despite the lights being on, and the family was forced to flee the house in panic. Paranormal investigators who ventured inside described the atmosphere as suffocating and oppressive. One seasoned medium reported feeling as though an invisible force was gripping her, preventing her from moving. She described seeing the Black Monk's face materialize in the shadow's eyes glowing with a malevolent red light, staring through her soul with an intensity that caused her to break into tears. Attempts at cleansing rituals or blessings were met with violent backlash. Furniture was thrown across rooms. Windows shattered, and eerie chanting echoed through the halls, making it clear the spirit was no ordinary ghost, but something far more sinister. Experts who studied the case speculate that the Black Monk may be more than just a restless spirit. The violent nature of the hauntings, combined with the entity's apparent ability to manipulate physical objects and instill intense fear, suggest a poltergeist intertwined with demonic forces. This theory gains weight when considering the monk's historical background. His rumored involvement in dark rituals and forbidden knowledge may have opened a door to malevolent realms, binding his spirit in eternal torment and giving it power beyond death. Local folklore hints at a curse placed upon the land where the house stands. Some believe that the soil itself is tainted, saturated with the energy of centuries of violence, betrayal, and despair. This dark energy feeds the black monk, fueling his rage and prolonging his hold on the living world. Visitors have reported feeling inexplicable dread even before entering the property, as if the darkness clings to the very air around it. The house's architecture adds another layer to the mystery. East Drive's twisted hallways, oddly angled ceilings, and rooms that seem to change shape and size unnervingly contribute to a sense of disorientation and helplessness. Some researchers believe the house itself acts as a prison, trapping the black monk's spirit and amplifying its power. Others say it is a beacon, drawing in those sensitive to the paranormal, feeding off their fear and pain. Despite the ongoing terror, there have been rare moments of inexplicable calm. Some claim the black monk occasionally shows a glimmer of humanity, a fleeting reminder that beneath the rage lies a tortured soul. During one investigation, a witness described feeling an overwhelming sadness in the air, followed by the faint scent of incense, a possible echo of the monk's former life. Yet these moments are brief and always overshadowed by a return to violent manifestations. Over time, the Black Monk of Pontefract has become a legend far beyond the borders of the UK. Stories of the haunting have been featured in documentaries, books, and paranormal podcasts, drawing thrill seekers and skeptics alike to East Drive. Many have entered, hoping to confront the darkness, but few have stayed long enough to tell the tale. The house is now considered one of the most violent and dangerous paranormal sites in the world, a place where fear takes on a life of its own. The psychological impact of such a haunting cannot be understated. Families who lived in the house suffered from anxiety, depression, and trauma long after leaving. Some experienced unexplained illnesses and accidents, believed to be connected to the lingering curse. The tale of the Black Monk is not just about ghosts or spirits, it's a stark reminder of how darkness can consume and destroy lives in very real ways. As we contemplate this terrifying story, we are reminded of the fragile boundary between the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen. The Black Monk of Pontefract stands as a chilling testament to the power of fear and the mysteries that dwell in shadows just beyond our reach. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about death, the afterlife, and the forces that may lurk in the corners of our world. What remains clear is that the Black Monk's story is far from over, as long as the house at 30 East Drive stands. The legend endures a dark presence, waiting silently for the next chapter in its long, violent history to unfold. If this tale has gripped you, if you feel the cold brush of fear on your skin as you listen, please remember to subscribe and leave a like. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Do you believe the Black Monk is real? Have you ever faced a force you couldn't explain? Your stories matter here. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for more terrifying tales that might just keep you awake at night. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the darkest horrors hide in the places we least expect.